Cape Town. What do I mean by too much vibes? If you haven't visited Cape Town before, just based on the atmosphere and the amount of things you can do, the options you have when it comes to activities, the vibes are high. It's a place you visit, and I'm pretty sure once you visit, after you visit, you're not going to say that I don't like Cape Town or it was nothing to do in Cape Town. That's impossible. You're not going to get those types of vibes here. There's so many different things you can do in this city based on solely of your interest, of course.
Wow, that's it?
Yep.
Wow, that's like so like unsafe.
Why?
In the U.S., we have metal detectors. Take off your shoes, put your bags through a metal detector. Here's
They're
like,
not so bad.
here's like, oh, just go ahead. Let me see. Go ahead.
Usually, things or stuff like that. People gonna fight, they're gonna fight you there. Drunk people.
Yeah, but you know how the U.S. is. It doesn't matter what it is. You can go. You can just be getting groceries. Pow.
Yeah. Okay. Where do we go? 104 section.
And what I meant by solely based on your interests is based on the things you like doing, of course. With me, I like seeing different parts of the cities and also at the same time, just different activities or doing things that I normally wouldn't do when I was back home. And what I'm doing today is something I normally wouldn't do because in the US, rugby isn't popular. So today, I chose to attend a rugby match.
It's here. Section 1.
So this vibe here is visiting my first ever rugby match and experiencing it in Cape Town.
So you don't want anything? Red Bull?
And that's what a vibe or vibes are all about. It's based about your experiences. Out of all the countries I visited, here in Cape Town was my first experience of any type of game, any sort of game ever. But overall, if you're a tourist, if you're a digital nomad, you working here, if you like to travel and get into the nightlife scene, or if you're a traveler and you're into like cultural diversity, museums, things of that sort, or you're into natural beauty, hiking, even if you're a beach person like myself, you have all these activities, all these things to do bundle up in one place. So that's what I mean by too much vibes. Some countries or some cities within the country you visit, you're not going to have a lot of options because it's always based on that particular city that you're in and the amount of things you can do in that particular city. The more things you have to do, the more type of vibes you'll get within that city. But don't get me wrong, it can't be impossible because I'm pretty sure somebody out there that has visited Cape Town and for whatever reason, they didn't like Cape Town. Maybe they found another city within the country that they found more of a attraction to or more things that they specifically like doing. Maybe the nightlife is better in a different city versus Cape Town. But all what I'm saying is Cape Town is a city, in my opinion, that you're not going to get a lot of people saying that they don't like this city and the vibes are bad or it's not a lot of things to do here. That would be impossible in my perspective.
Get sweaty while you watch the game. Your team loses, you come out here and lift weights. Oh, motherfucker. Oh, shit.
The vibes here I could only compare really to a country and a city within that country that is very similar to Cape Town, meaning that they're surrounded by ocean, so it's a beach city and they have things that's similar that's here in Cape Town. Other than that, it's kind of hard for me to compare Cape Town to another city that I visited in a different country that doesn't have a beach. that would be kind of hard to compare. Now, I could still make a comparison, but again, it would be my own perspective based on the things I like doing and the vibes I would get out of the outcome. So, too much vibes translates into too many things to do, too many experiences. That's what I meant by too much vibes. Each experience you receive, a different type of vibe you will also receive. And when you travel, not even when you travel, but even if you're a native of that country in that particular city, when you travel to a different city within your own country, you're not going to receive the same type of vibes, especially if the city is totally different than the city that you're comparing it to or your own city. It's always going to be different. That's like me in the US comparing New York to LA. Two different coasts, two different cities, also two different demographics of people that live in those two different cities. So the vibes are not going to be the same, even though it's the same exact country. You get my drift? Also, as a traveler, what I've noticed is usually when you travel to your first city in a particular country, usually that city not only becomes your favorite city, but also it becomes the city within that country you receive the most vibes, especially if you keep continuing to visit or revisit that city. And if you go finally to another city, usually that new city doesn't become your favorite city in that country automatically. Usually it's the city you revisit the most, and it's the city that you visited first. That's something I noticed. So here's my very first experience seeing a live rugby game here in Cape Town. What do I think of rugby, the actual game? I think rugby is dangerous as hell. They have no equipment on, just knocking each other over. That shit is dangerous as hell. So rugby will be comparable to American football. The only difference between the two is American football, the players have a lot of equipment on to protect them from getting hurt. Versus rugby, as you see, no equipment. So somebody can actually get fucked up. So that's the real danger when it comes to rugby. And I was kind of waiting for that to happen since nobody has equipment on. I'm like, how long could a rugby match last without someone really getting injured? And believe it or not, there was no injuries, even though they don't have equipment on. So now I feel like if you're South African to see American football, you all probably think American football is boring as hell because they have all this equipment on. So it's kind of probably slower to South Africans to see American football. It's just a slower process of the game versus rugby, no equipment on, everything is faster. It seems to me that it's more fast paced compared to American football. But it was cool vibes here. You know, the experience to see a lot of people, especially here in South Africa, that they like rugby. This is, I would say, probably the number one sport here in South Africa.
Gonna get something to eat? Where are we going?
Go to the alcohol tip.
Oh, standing in a long line.
You wanted to walk?
Oh yeah, I'm glad I did.
Back home in the US, I have never visited any type of game, whether it's basketball, football, soccer, you name it. I never visited any type of game. And the reason is after, I would say, after maybe like 60 minutes, after an hour of setting, I have to move around. I can't set for more than an hour. My ass start hurting, my back start hurting. I need to move around. I can't just set in one spot. That's one reason why I never visit any type of game. Also, I'm not really into sports like that. With me, if I'm not in the sport, if I'm not playing, I don't want to see other people play. I don't know why. That sounds kind of stupid. Maybe because my parents never watched any type of sport like that. Maybe unless it was boxing a little bit of MMA. Other than that, they wasn't heavily into sports. Therefore, I'm not really heavily into sports like that also. Especially when it comes to team sports, because usually team sports last forever. It's a lot of breaks, so that means it's going to be a lot of setting. It's not me, but it's all about the vibes and it's all about the experience. And that's what I got.